He wasn't Paul Bunyan, he was Finn MacCool. I'm Richard.
And I'm Gary, and these are our incredible stories. Hello and welcome back to all of our listeners from around the world and across the United States. We're happy to have you back with us again for some more incredible stories. If you like what you hear and you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Pull up a chair. If you want, feel free. Help yourself. There's snacks in your refrigerator, and I'm sure you have a few drinks. Go ahead. That's complimentary on you. And if you want to join us each and every Friday, you can do so. Just hit that like and subscribe button, and I guarantee you'll be treated to some of the most interesting stories that you'll hear, well, at least on this podcast. So today, it sounds like we have an interesting story. It sounds like we're going to be telling or talking about something similar to a tall tale that we have here in the United States. Can you give us a little bit more about that?
Yes, indeedy. And what a great way to start the weekends, right, Gary?
I think so.
On a Friday evening, just sitting back, relaxing, and tuning into an entertaining story. And you and I have a lot of fun telling them.
Always.
So I mentioned Paul Bunyan, and he's not really who we're talking about tonight. So I'm going to have you start and just tell us briefly who Paul Bunyan was and what he did so that we have a point of comparison.
Paul Bunyan is a folk tale about a man who was gigantic, and he had a giant blue ox named Babe. And supposedly, because of his giant stature, him and his blue ox apparently carved out the Grand Canyon, and they dug the Missouri River or something like that, and he was faster than any log cutting machine out there. He was just amazing.
Yes, and he's an American folktale.
He is an American folktale. That's right.
Now we're going to be talking about Finn MacCool, who are friends in Ireland who are listening in, and we do have listeners in Ireland.
That we do.
Will be familiar with. Finn MacCool was an Irish giant, similar to Paul Bunyan. You know, he was a giant too, right?
He was a giant. Did he swing an axe like Paul?
Let's find out. Finn MacCool was not too happy with Scottish giants. He didn't see eye to eye with them. He was an Irish giant. So he considered the Scottish giants his enemies, and so he built a whole causeway from Ulster across the sea to Scotland just so he could battle them.
Really?
Yeah, does that sound like Paul Bunyan carving out the Missouri River?
A little bit.
One day, Finn MacCool shouted a challenge to a Scottish giant by the name of Benandonner. "Cross the causeway and fight me."
Oh.
Now, soon he saw that the Scottish giant was getting closer and closer to the causeway, and he realized Benandonner was much, much, much bigger than he had imagined.
Oh, see, that's what happens. You put your foot in your mouth.
So, Finn MacCool decided, even though he had picked a fight, he changed his mind, and he ran home to his wife.
Oh, no. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not going to fight that guy.
Yeah.
I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
So, of course, now he has to get some moral support from his wife.
Yeah, sometimes you need that.
Mm-hmm. Her name was Una, and Finn went running home, and he heard the stamping of feet. Benandonner was breathing down his neck, and Finn runs into the house. Benandonner knocks on the door. Finn wouldn't answer, of course.
Of course not. I mean, he just angered the man.
So I don't know what his wife was thinking at the time, but she shoved him into the baby cradle with a couple of sheets over him.
Okay.
And Finn's wife then opened the door. Finn is away hunting deer in County Kerry. Would you like to come in anyway and wait? Finn's late for his meal. Will you eat if I cook his favorite? Una baked some bread, and she slipped some iron inside it.
Oh.
And when Benandonner bit into it, he broke 3 of his front teeth.
Oh, my gosh.
That had to be painful. The meat was a strip of hard fat nailed to a block of red timber. And when Benandauer bit into it, he cracked 2 of his back teeth.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, they really messed up his mouth.
Mm-hmm. But for some reason, he didn't get angry with Una, Finn's wife. And she said, would you like to say hello to the baby? And of course, you know who's hiding in the cradle. Of course. Right? She pointed to the cradle, and there was Finn. He was dressed in the baby's clothes.
Jeez. This is some story.
Yeah. All right. So anyhow.
Man.
Finn leaps from the cradle and chases Benandauer out of Ireland. All of a sudden, he dug a huge piece of earth out of the ground. He flung it at the Scottish giant. The hole that he made filled up with water, and that became the biggest lake in Ireland. And the earth that he threw missed Benandauer. That landed in the middle of the Irish Sea, and it became the Isle of Man.
Wow.
And that's how we have that kind of natural landscape.
And that's how it happened.
That's how it happened. So there you go, Gary. There is a true blue, or green, as the case may be, Irish folk tale.
How about that?
Finn MacCool.
Finn MacCool.
I can just picture him in my mind in his baby clothes chasing after this giant.
Yeah.
Cartoon City.
I'm telling you. I would love to know who thought up these stories.
I know, these folk tales.
And the thing is, like, with tall tales, and we talked about this before when we were talking about urban legends, everything comes from some kind of bit of truth. So I'm not saying that there was a giant, but there could have been a fellow out there, a rather tall fella, and there may have been somebody taller than him, and they may have, had a
major
kerfuffle.
Disagreement. And,
and it turned into an interesting situation, and then people just kind of added a little hyperbole to exaggerate some of the details. And
I fully believe that's the way it could have unfolded in real life. Yeah.
Well, maybe not eating the iron, but maybe hiding in a closet or something. And
she could have put something into the.
Oh, who knows? Yeah. Who knows? I mean, that's crazy. But you know what? It's fun, and that's the thing. A lot of times people want to make things more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But these kind of stories are just entertaining. It just gives you a good little laugh.
So hopefully you folks really enjoyed our Irish folktale tonight. So until the next time.
Go ahead. And I'm Gary. And this was a very interesting story.
Yeah, different.
That it was. Look out for baby giants.
Yeah.